限りなくメンタルがマイナス寄りになった時に思う。自分は平凡なんだと。ところで平凡な俺よ、下を向いている暇はあるのか。できるまでやればできる。
Talent is defined by skills or aptitude, not gained by effort, but instead given by nature, by God, by some superior being that decided I wasn't worth giving talent to. For many years of my life, I thought that it was impossible to become successful because I just didn't have the talent for it. But I was wrong. I've defied expectations time and time again, being called insane, delusional, unrealistic, and to be honest, I even thought that I was delusional myself sometimes. But maybe, just maybe, those people and my younger self never really put 100% into anything, and they didn't know how far effort could take you. In this video, I'll go over how you can beat talent and defy expectations so that your dreams won't stay as dreams, but instead become a goal. First of all, let's look at the bigger picture to understand where we stand. We can broadly categorize people into one of the following: people with talent and effort, talent and no effort, no talent and effort, and no talent and no effort. In terms of where we, or at least I, stand, I have no talent, so we can either be at the bottom of the barrel if we don't put any effort in, or we can be just behind those with both talent and effort. Now, you might be thinking that even if you put the work in, it doesn't really matter because you can never beat those with talent and effort. But you have to think about it from a distribution perspective, because those with talent and effort are so rare, they're pretty much just the top 0.1%. So if you don't have the talent but put the effort in, you could definitely grind your way up to at least the top 1% or even 0.5%. You have to understand that we have an inherent disadvantage, but there's no point complaining and crying over something that you're naturally born with. You just have to suck it up and play your best game with the cards that you were dealt. And this leads to my first point, which is to have a growth mindset over a fixed mindset. I'm sure most of you have heard these terms, but a growth mindset is when we view our results as a result of the effort that we put in, and when we think that it's possible to learn new skills and gain abilities regardless of how bad we might be at the start. A fixed mindset is when we think that everything is predetermined. Your skills, your abilities, your results. There's nothing that you can do to change the outcome because you're born with certain skills and talents that prevent you from doing certain things. As an example of a guy that became successful through sheer effort, let's take a look at the NBA player Jimmy Butler. While he's not the best in the league like Jokic, Curry, or LeBron, he's definitely up there and is one of the top players in this generation. You might think that God's gifted him some talent or an environment, but in reality, his rise to success was nothing less than a path full of thorns. At 13 years old, Jimmy was kicked out from his house and was homeless. He'd couch hop at his friends' places, and when he couldn't find anywhere to stay, he'd wander the streets at night. He wasn't academically gifted, and while he loved basketball, he wasn't gifted at that either. By the time he graduated high school, he was staying at a friend's place where he could now call his new home and family. But he was only ranked 73rd in the state of Texas. Nothing that you could call talent. Of course, he didn't get an offer from any D1 colleges, and he had to settle for Tyler Junior College, which was a 2-year community college. During this time, he put his head down to grind and finished his freshman season as the leading scorer of the team. He was finally being recognized by some major colleges, and Jimmy Butler went to Marquette University. Jimmy then entered the 2011 NBA draft and was picked as the 30th pick by the Chicago Bulls. At this point, there's still no sign of significant talent or success. Of course, it's impressive that he even got into the NBA, and you could call that talent, but we're not here to become decently great. We're here to achieve the apex of greatness. In his first season, he only got a measly 8.5 minutes and 2.6 points per game, but his fourth season is when everything took off. He averaged 38.7 minutes and 20 points per game, becoming a core of the Chicago Bulls team, and he was voted as the most improved player. He won't ever be as good as LeBron James or Michael Jordan, but without talent, he surpassed most NBA players, became an all-star, and is one of the best in the league, and he is definitely one of the top 0.5% at the very least. The second key point I want to mention is to focus on your weapon and increase the leverage of it by as much as possible. In this case, I want to talk about your weapon of effort. Let's say that you don't have any natural aptitude or a great environment where you can easily learn trading. All you have to rely on is your effort, and that'll be your greatest weapon that you wield. You want to constantly be improving your weapon, and that means we want to look for ways in which we can increase productivity and make each hour of effort worth extremely high. There are so many ways in which you can increase the quality of your effort, but the most simple and effective strategy is to constantly reflect and improve. This is something that helped me get into one of the best universities in my country, reach the top 1% in Valorant, and get a payout within a year of trading. Up until a certain point, you don't really need to be more skilled than other people. You just need to make less mistakes. And the easiest way is by doing deliberate practice. When you're watching a video or reading a book on trading, don't just mindlessly read. Focus on specific concepts and advice that you think could help you accelerate your growth. When you're going into a trading session, go in with the goal of improving, of focusing on a specific aspect of your trading that you're still improving at, and really concentrate on trying to improve that skill. For example, if you're a new ICT trader and you still struggle with identifying ICT concepts on the charts, go into the trading session with absolute focus on identifying and marking out every single ICT concept. Then, when you improve at identifying them, focus on marking out only the ones that you think are important. At the end of the day, look back and see if your analysis was correct, and if not, why it was wrong and how you could improve next time. If you want to improve your psychology, then journal and understand your emotions, why you're feeling a certain way, how your emotions are influencing your actions, and when these emotions pop up. By doing this, you can constantly get feedback on how well you're doing at managing emotions. Another aspect of increasing the quality of your effort is to just put the hours in. People have different ways that they learn, and the only way that you can find out how you learn the best is just by putting the hours in. Deliberate practice is important here as well. Experiment with different study methods, different time intervals for studying and breaks. Just try as many ways of studying and see what works the best for you. When you don't have talent, the highest leverage use of our time is to learn how to learn, because that will help you with when you have to learn new stuff in the future, regardless of what it is. As another example of someone that got successful off of pure effort, let me talk about Mr. Beast. He's the biggest YouTuber now, but if you go to his oldest videos, you could not tell me with a straight face that this guy has talent in making videos. But if you've watched his interviews, you know just how much effort he's putting into making the best YouTube videos possible.
It's where you just, so like, imagine a world where it's just you working solo and you work 12 hours a day every day for like a year, and you're just grinding, you make a mistake, you learn from it, you grind, you make a mistake, you learn from it, and you do that for like a year. And then imagine a different world where you have 4 friends who are also equally grinding in something similar. Friend number 1 makes a mistake on Friday, he teaches the other 4 people. Friend number 2 makes a mistake the next week, teaches everyone. And then like you're all learning from each other's mistakes. You're all constantly studying 24/7 and downloading each other. Like after a year, you're like 2 years ahead of the guy who was just solo.
This is what's possible with effort. With all due respect, I don't think Mr. Beast has talent. He's just really good at reflecting, improving, and being consistent with his hard work. And that's something that most people can't do. Because at the first roadblock they face, they'll lose motivation and quit. Mr. Beast has been grinding for years and years, and that's why he was able to become the best. And if he can get to the top of one of the most competitive spaces by just working smart and working hard, then why can't we? But you might be wondering, how can we consistently keep working hard without burning out? And that leads me to my third point of building a system and having a strong why. In the book Atomic Habits, James Clear talks about the importance of building a system rather than having a goal. Having a goal and working towards it relies on the hope factor, the hope that your hard work will get rewarded with results. But if you have a good system that you follow every day, you don't have to rely on the hope that you'll become successful. This doesn't mean that having goals is bad, but don't rely on your goal to be the sole motivator. As an example, if you want to get a stronger body, your system could be to do 100 push-ups every day. It might not be as efficient as doing targeted exercises, going to the gym and training with optimized weights. But if you just follow the system, there's absolutely no reason that you wouldn't get a stronger body over time. This is the same in trading as well. If you have well-defined rules and a system that you know is profitable by either backtesting or paper trading, then as long as you stick to the system and show up every single day, there's no reason that you wouldn't become profitable. You might be able to make things more efficient if you can apply deliberate practice and improve every single day. In other words, go to the gym, get a personal trainer, optimize your routine. But even with simple means such as a push-up, it is definitely possible to get results that you desire as long as you keep at it. But being disciplined is easier said than done, so I'll share some practical tips that can help you become disciplined. First one is to make sure you have a strong why. I've said this in previous videos as well, but the reason that I'm repeating this is because it is so important. When you have a strong why, it doesn't matter what roadblocks you face. You just keep going because you have that burning desire within you that fuels you to keep pushing through. This why could be anything: wanting your dream car, giving back to those that have treated you well, or even just wanting a bunch of money. But you just have to make sure that it's a strong enough desire that won't disappear, and to have an actual reason for why you want to do trading or your specific craft. Because if your desire is to have a bunch of money, then it's easy to get sidetracked by other businesses like SMMA, SaaS, or dropshipping, and you really want to just focus on one thing and stick at it. The second tip I have is to just make it a habit. I recommend reading Atomic Habits by James Clear and The Power of Habits by Charles Duhigg for this. But essentially, a habit forms when you have a cue, routine, then a reward. For me, the cue is time. When it becomes 8:30 AM Eastern, I open up my charts on one monitor, then open up YouTube or a book on the other monitor. This way, I stay productive during my trading session, and I'm not just staring at the charts for the entire session. This is the routine part of the habit. The reward is just the satisfaction I get from aligning my action with the person that I want to be, and the fact that I'm being productive and getting closer and closer to my desired self. The last and final key point I want to address in this video is imitation. Find someone you really want to be like and completely imitate them. Your thoughts, your actions, your routines. They should be aligned with whoever your role model is. For me, this role model was Dodgy, and because I watched so many of his videos, I could literally hear him in my head. And doing this basically forces you to act like the person that you're trying to be, so there's a good chance that you start getting similar results as them. And that's pretty much it for the video. There isn't a secret trick or a silver bullet to become successful. You just need to put the work in, even if it takes longer than other people. By staying consistent and improving yourself each day, there isn't a reason that you wouldn't be successful.